There is a lot of news recently about a big consulting firm. I think it is one of the biggest in the world, whose clients, some of the governments are questioning the output submitted as part of a consulting program. And this output was most likely generated by LLMs, and LLMs hallucinated in that case. Now, this is still subject to a kind of a legal review. So there are a lot of legal cases and investigations on way, which obviously will take its own sweet time. But just wanted to highlight as to what at the outset it seems to me has happened over here. And it might be happening across by other companies as well who are calling themselves as a consulting business, but primarily using these tools like an LLM in order to generate the output. So there are three different categories of problems that AI can handle, and each one of them is unique and separate from one another. So obviously, we can say there is a language problem, there is a thinking problem, and there is an intelligence problem. So let me just elaborate that a little bit. On the language front, the way LLMs are structured, if you would have known the architecture of LLMs as to how it takes the multi-head perception, put it into vector embeddings, and try to find out which is the closest matching token to the source token or the input token, and the training set is actually internet, which is not even facts, not cannot be even classified as knowledge, you would not do that. So you are trying to understand what is the next likely word using backward propagation. This is the internal dynamics of an LLM. Now what has happened in this particular company's case is they have tried to resolve a problem of intelligence using a language tool, which is LLM, large language model. When it comes to thinking, there was a very interesting piece of work by Apple. It is called The Illusion of Thinking. You must read that research if you haven't. They tried these reasoning models and try to establish this thinking is more of a factor of where you are able to take independent decisions as a artificial intelligence, when the AI is able to take independent decisions. The third interesting dimension is intelligence. Intelligence captures knowledge. Intelligence captures data, which is the representation of knowledge. But if there is a problem of intelligence, in the sense there is a particular submission or a recommendations the client needs, you need to go back to the data set, you need to go back to the source of intelligence, rather than considering the language as an illusion of intelligence, which has happened into this particular case. In the future, this will be one of the most widely talked about aspect. The obvious reason is it is so easy to fall to the trap. So if somebody can speak well, do we consider the person is having good thoughts, or the person is intelligent? The answer is no. So I might not know Chinese, but my brain might be functioning very well. And these are different dimensions. And somewhere down the line, many of these companies which have tried to do transformation programs, whether as a service provider or as a customer, what they are doing is they are trying to use a tool for one against the need or requirement for another. So something to look when you are evaluating AI. Not all AIs are born equal. Large language models, if you understand it as to how they work, if you know the backward propagation, what goes into a large language model, inside the dynamics as to what all different things happen into the transformer portion of that algorithm, you would consider it only as a tool of a language. You will understand that. So for your intelligence, you have to figure out a way to fetch the data and use machine learning. For reasoning, I think still there is not much of work which is concrete enough to be called reasoning, and that gives us hope that AGI is still far away. So something to think about when you are trying to evaluate or consider artificial intelligence driven transformation.